Armand Membou made history this weekend, becoming the first top 10 draft pick from Mizzou of the Eli Drinkwitz era. KOMU Graham Brownstein has more on Membou's background, his style of play, and his interesting path to the league.
Before Mizzou or the NFL draft buzz, Armand Membou was a quiet kid in Kansas City, raised by Cameroonian immigrants, where football was just a way to stay busy.
If you want to do this, do it. So that way you don't have to come home early and be watching TV.
But football didn't necessarily stick right away.
I remember him walking down the hall with his tennis rackets in his hand. He was on the tennis team. He was on a wrestling team.
He didn't play a varsity down until his junior year at Lee's Summit North High School, and he was still skinny, raw, and under the radar.
And so there was this wiry, goofy kid, and he played on the sophomore team. He played on his freshman team the freshman year, sophomore team his sophomore year. And you didn't know what he was going to actually turn into.
That was until inspiration showed up in the form of a teammate.
He was inspired by Caden Green.
Watching offers roll in for the highly touted Caden Green, Membou hit the gym after his sophomore season, changing his diet, his body, and his mindset.
He was like, "Mom, I want to go to the gym. I want to take things seriously." And again, like I said, inspired by Caden Green.
By summer 2020, Armand was turning heads at workouts, impressing his coaches and teammates.
I was kind of waiting until we started doing drill work, till we started moving around. And then once we started moving around, I was like, okay, this is going to be a dude.
That season, he lined up next to Green and started opening eyes.
I was left tackle, he was left guard, so that was pretty fun. That's really when he took off in recruiting too.
And after just one varsity season, Membou committed to Missouri. Then in his senior season, O-line trainer Chris Gomez joined the Broncos coaching staff, and the results were dominant.
Walking in here as his O-line coach his senior year and watching him just run people 30 yards down the field, it was pretty cool to see. It
was borderline dangerous at times. The play would be going on, and you look 25 yards down the field, and he had his guy down there.
My joke was always he's like Tyron Smith, and Caden's more like Trent Williams. He could have made any coach in the world look like the best coach in the world.
It was never flashy, just consistent and confident.
Sometimes I will be the one to hesitate a little bit and be like, "Mom, let's go." It's like this.
That's what makes Armand Armand. Is that simple subtlety right there? Is that his character is where he's matter of fact, and if he says it, he means it.
He made 29 starts at Mizzou, including multiple starts as a true freshman, and didn't allow a single sack in 2024. When the Tigers headed to the Music City Bowl, Membou sat out, already preparing for what was next.
My dumb butt, I tried to ask him to come back because I said I think he could have been the #1 overall pick next year.
And I said, what's your grade? How are things looking? And he was just like, "Coach, I'm the best O-lineman in the country."
Then came the NFL Combine, and with it, a breakout moment.
That's 10. That's a good start. That is athletic. Look at him go. Whoa. 4.91.
His 4.91 40-yard dash went viral, the fastest time in over 20 years by an offensive lineman weighing more than 330 pounds.
He did run, and I just stopped clapping, and I saw everybody was clapping, but I didn't know exactly what was going on.
We're sitting here watching it, and he's just sitting there screaming. I start laughing. I think it's hilarious. That's what that dude does. He's just everything's just high intensity, high energy.
And after flying up draft boards, some called Membou a surprise success story.
Nothing is a surprise. He's been that good for a long, long time.
I'm very thankful for who he is, and I keep telling him to continue to be who he is and keep working hard and making us proud.
From overlooked to undeniable, Armand Membou's next chapter begins.
With the 7th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Armand Membou, Missouri.
Graham Brownstein, KOMU 8 Sports.